What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. We've got some Seattle Seahawks news. That's right, we've got some actual news. Something concrete has happened with the Seattle Seahawks roster. And I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I think this is just something that you do. And whether or not it's good or bad is to be determined later, but it is definitely something, and it is the prelude to something that should be good. I will say that much. So earlier today, and this came down very early this morning. I know I'm a little bit late to the punch here, but the Seattle Seahawks restructured Leonard Williams's contract, and they restructured it big time. They didn't do a normal restructure, although they did do that. They went all the way here, and we'll talk about what I mean by that in a second. This video is powered by BetUS. More on them a little bit later, but got Greg Bell here with the tweet. Obviously, a bunch of other Seahawks beat reporters talked about this. The Seahawks create about $15 million in additional space under the 2025 salary cap by converting some of defensive end Leonard Williams's salary to bonus money and adding 2 void years. This is per over the cap. So, according to him, the cap charge has decreased from 29.1 to 14.1 million. And if you go over to over the cap, they already have the updated numbers here. They actually have 15 million as the cap hit for 2025, and you can see the effect that this has had on the contract down the line. So let's understand everything that happened here real quick. In 2025, what they did is they took the base amount of the salary down to basically the minimum, 1.255 million, so basically 1.25 million, and they've converted all that base to bonus. And what that does is it pushes the 2025 cap hit down, and it has pushed it down significantly. It's now 15 million, just barely over 15. And it has made things a little bit bigger in 2026. Pushed some of that money out to 2026. That cap hit is now 29.6 million. You've also made him a little bit harder to move on from in the next couple of seasons. You can see that the dead money on a Leonard Williams cut next offseason is now not that different from his actual cap hit. The difference is 7.3 million, which is not insignificant, but most of the money is still getting paid to him. However, Leonard Williams played so good in 2024 that thinking about moving on from him in one off season is basically beyond the pale. So I don't think that that's even really a factor here. So 29.6 million in 2026. Now, the reason why that number isn't a lot bigger is because they also kicked some of the money out into void years. There is a void year in 2027 and a void year in 2028. Now, we've talked about void years on this channel before, but the idea is the player gets a certain amount of money against the cap in those years, even if they're not on the team. And if they are on the team, then the money they get on their new contract is in addition to the void year. So basically, it's like putting the cap hit on a credit card. That's the best way I can put it. You're putting it on a credit card and saying, we'll take care of it later. Very common practice in the NFL. Seahawks have been very resistant on doing it, but the last offseason and now this offseason, they've been more willing to do it. 4.7 million in 2027 and then 4.7 million in 2028. So that is how the contract has changed. Before I go any further, though, into this, I want to tell you about my friends over at BetUS. BetUS has a casino as well as a sports book. So get on over there, check out their casino. For anyone out there who likes slots, if you like live casino dealers for games like blackjack, get on over there. They have a sign-up bonus right now, 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000, or 250% for a crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000. So go have fun over there. Utilize their casino. Also utilize their sports book. Utilize it all because it's a great online gambling website. Check it out. Bet US, get to some gambling, get to some betting, go have some fun, and go get your free money while you're at it. The sign-up bonus, very sweet. Okay, so back to the contract here. That's pretty much a conclusive rundown of where this contract currently sits now. And the thing that I want to draw emphasis to now, this is not something I thought the Seahawks were going to do at the moment. I thought maybe they would do this in the middle of the season after they had decided they wanted to really push for a 2025 playoff run. I didn't think they'd do it now. You can go back and look at my, off-season path that I laid out, and you can see I didn't have any restructures of any players when I was talking about creating cap space. I had a bunch of cuts or releases. I had a trade. I had some extensions, but I didn't have anything in the realm of restructuring, and they just restructured one of their best players. And not only did they restructure him, they restructured the heck out of him. They pushed not only as much money as possible into bonus, they put a bunch of money into void years to make this work. So this is not just an all-in move. This is an all-in move. So what I'm going to say now, because again, I want to stress, I don't think this is a good or bad decision. I think what you do after this determines whether or not this is a good or bad decision. Now that you have done this, it's time to go all out. It just is. If you do this and then you don't go all out the rest of the offseason to build the best team that you can as aggressively as you can, then what was the point? Why did you do it? Why wouldn't you just let the contract sit as it is, deal with the bigger cap hit now, knowing it'll give you more freedom and more money to play with later? So now that you have done this, and you still have so many more things you can do to create cap space without losing that much. You've got $17 million to save on Lockett. You've got more than $10 million, but possibly up to $16.5 million to save on Draymond Jones. You've got $9 million to save on Noah Fant. You've got over $5.25 million to save on Rayshawn. You've got more than $6.5 million to save on Roy Robertson Harris. You've got $3.8 million to save on George Fant. You've got $5 million to save on Woolen. You can save $7 million on a DK extension, $6 million on a Geno extension, $500,000 on a Dixon extension. All these things that we spent all this time talking about in previous weeks. You still haven't touched any of that. And you're already most of the way out of the salary cap hole as is. By the way, just with this move. This move, by my estimation, gets you to like -$8 million, -$9 million. So all this stuff is going to get you most of the way out of the hole. So now that you have the ability to get yourself deep into the black, like we are talking, what did we get to? At one point we were $53 million in the black. With this move, you could get well over $60 million in the black, and you do nothing that hurts you. You could say, let's keep Woolen. Let's give Woolen that $5 million extra. Let's go ahead and give Woolen that 4th year. Now you can do that, and you're still saving more money than I projected. So now that you've done it, you've committed. You've committed to going all out in 2025. If this is not a move to go all out in 2025, then I don't know what it is. At that point, I would say, well, it was a bad move. You may as well just take it on the chin if you're not going for it. Now you've done it, so you have to be aggressive this offseason. And that means giving out big long-term contracts to top of the line free agents. That means retaining Ernest Jones. That means taking a gamble on extending Geno Smith. That means taking a gamble on extending DK Metcalf. If you're gambling here, you should gamble elsewhere. So if you're going to drive on the Autobahn, you don't decide you're going to keep things at a nice brisk 70 miles per hour. If you're going to go to the Autobahn, rent the Lamborghini, and then you really push it. You go as fast as you can. Because if you're going to go through the trouble of traveling to Europe so you can test the Autobahn, you gotta do everything you can to make sure you're getting everything out of the experience. Not because it can't work, but because you need to try to make it work. You need to at least put some effort into it. So the die is cast as far as I'm concerned now. I was going to make at least one video this offseason talking about the take a step back in 2025 scenario. To me, that scenario is now completely off the table. 2025 and 2026 should be looked at as the window. And if you're not willing to do that, then you shouldn't have made this move. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now, people. That's how I see things. I'm good with the move. I'm not going to say it's good, and I'm not going to say it's bad, because that is, to me, to be determined. If we tiptoe through free agency and we don't do much and we just keep our own guys and we try to stay in the pocket, then I'm going to say, hey, what the heck? Why did we do this? Why did we push that money out? We didn't have to do that. We could have just let it ride in 2025 and reevaluate it in 2026. But now you've done this, and you've got so much more that you can do, that I have to say there's no point in talking about the take a step back path. You're not taking a step back after this move, period. All right, let me know what you guys think. Leonard Williams gets his cap hit cut almost in half for 2025. Very interesting move. A lot of money gets pushed into the next few years, but you have created massive cap space for 2025, and I'm good with that. I'm fine with that, but tell me that you're going to go out there and do something with that money you created. That's the important part now. And Leonard Williams, look, I'm going to, real quick, just to talk about the Leonard Williams side of things. These kinds of players, these interior defensive linemen, tend to last a long time. So I'm not worried about Leonard Williams falling off a cliff in the next year or two. So that part of it I'm cool with. It's the monetary stuff that I'm more concerned about, depending on which way we go. Thank you to BetUS for powering this video. See you guys later. Go Hawks.